To Matthews. We have been servicing Colorado since 1951. Located in the Highlands Ranch Town Center. Matthews, we buy, sell, and service Rolex watches.
Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry. Located in the Highlands Ranch Town Center or online at MatthewsFineWatches.com.
I know some people think after a car accident, do I really need a lawyer? Hiring Postman Law isn't only about the courtroom. We're your single point of contact in a complicated claims process. We take on the insurance adjusters, organize your medical bills, coordinate with doctors, and make sure nothing gets missed. Get the outcome you deserve without the headache. Call 844-POSTMAN. When other firms promise, Postman delivers.
Call 844-POSTMAN. Attorney Advertising.
These days, losing weight is such a roller coaster. You try the new medications, and when you stop taking them, you gain it all back.
Today is a new
day.
Let Soda Weight Loss teach you the healthy, natural way to let go of the weight for good.
Do you know how good it feels to let go of 51 pounds of belly fat? And I did it without drugs, shots, or hunger. Because Soda Weight Loss works. Just look at all the Google reviews and all the thousands of before and after pictures.
For a limited time, 2 people can start with Soda Weight Loss for the price of 1.
What does that mean? It's more fun?
Double the motivation, double the results, half the cost.
The best decision I've made in a long time was just to call Soda Weight Loss.
Take advantage of Soda Weight Loss 2-for-1 partner program. Visit sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Black Friday is going on now at every AutoNation store. Hurry in and save for a limited time. Buy with 0 down, plus make no payments till next year. Shop new and used cars, trucks, SUVs, even top luxury models. Drive with 0 down, plus no payments till next year. Save your cash for the holidays. Go to your nearest AutoNation store now. Limited term financing on approved credit. 90-day deferred payment. Interest accrues from date of purchase. See store for details.
O'Reilly! Stop by the new O'Reilly Auto Parts in Wheat Ridge on Kipling Street behind Natural Grocers now through November 25th for the grand opening sale. Save $1 on select Armor All interior wipes and receive 2 times O Rewards points. Plus, get 2 times points on Valvoline FlexFill Gear Oil. 2 times points means you can reach your next $5 reward twice as fast. Right now at your new O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Payton Manning here. Throughout my football career, staying healthy was a big priority, but bumps, bruises, and injuries were part of the game. And for me, it's not just the clinical excellence and expertise that sets a medical team apart. It's also the compassion, kindness, and empathy they show. At Common Spirit Health, healing is quality care and human kindness. And my friends at Common Spirit are teaming up with their partners to spread human kindness and create healthy communities. Common Spirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
It's the biggest savings of the year. AutoNation's annual sell down. Every vehicle is must-go priced. The AutoNation's annual sell down going on now. Shop and save now at AutoNation.com.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. It's a Bud Light Football Friday. Bud Light, an official beer sponsor of the Denver Broncos. Here's Denver Sports Tonight.
Bud Light Football Friday. Welcome into Denver Sports Tonight. Mike Rice, Dante Gomez, keeping you company for the next hour right up until 7 Mountain Time. Dante, special thanks to you and Chad Andrus last Friday and Monday for holding down the fort. Much appreciated, my friend.
Yeah, someone had to do it. You know, you weren't willing to show up to work, so
no, I wasn't.
Someone else had to put in the hours.
I got to say, an absolute all-timer of an experience. Went to Penn State to watch Penn State Indiana football last Saturday, and then backed it up with the Pittsburgh Penguins and LA Kings in Steel City on Sunday. Took my youngest son, so we had just a sports trip. And I have got to say, I know Penn State is struggling mightily in football this year. What have they lost? 7 in a row, 8 in a row, whatever it is. A coach fired along the way. I've never been in a college football atmosphere like that. It was incredible. And I can only imagine when they're actually good and competing at the level that they're used to and that they expect. 105,000 plus people at Beaver Stadium. Phenomenal. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, college football to me in general provides the best atmospheres you can find in sports. And for a team that's kind of down and out at this point in Penn State, fired their coach midseason, you're coming over here and saying it was still that incredible of an atmosphere. Yeah. That's just awesome. I was very jealous you were over there. And what a great game you ended up getting, too.
Incredible game. I mean, you never would have known it. I mean, late third, Indiana's up 20-7. Penn State scores 17 in a row. And then, I mean, you and I were going back and forth after the game about the catch. It looked like from the replay in the stadium that first foot by the Indiana receiver was beyond the end line or on the end line. But, as I watched it again, looked like he got them both down. But it took that many replays.
Oh, my God. Yeah, they showed the replay. He didn't end up getting both feet down, just the first foot, which in college
the second one was out then. See, I'm still it was
But his
phenomenal.
ability to, because that first foot looked like it was about to touch first foot. It's hard to describe it over radio here. The one of his feet looked like it was about to touch the out of bounds line,
right?
And somehow it just hovered there for an extra, half a second.
Yeah.
And then the other foot was able to touch down first. I mean, one of those where that might be the play of the year, and you got to see it live.
It might be. It was incredible. And if you ever have the chance to see Penn State in a home game, I could not recommend it. Just one observation about the campus. I mean, State College, University Park is where the university is. It's in the town of State College. I mean, it's in the middle of the state. It's in the middle of nowhere. And how they fill that thing like that, and they're constantly doing renovations and they're moving in more seats and all the rest, is incredible. And yet it's so big time, Dante, and there's so many people, but somehow it still feels like kind of intimate. I mean, I'm not talking about necessarily in the stadium, but it is a quintessential college town. It is a quintessential campus when you think of that stereotypical college experience. And from that standpoint, it feels a little bit smaller to me, even though there's, like 48,000 students at that campus. It was phenomenal. The game was great. The hockey game was fun too, just not quite the experience that a Penn State football game is. But we had a great time, and special thanks to Chad. I was listening. We were driving from Pittsburgh out to State College on Friday night in the rain, and here I am listening to my guys. I'm glad Chad called me kinder and gentler. That was
did.
Nice.
He did.
I appreciate that.
I think it was accurate as well.
All right, we've got a football game to talk about here, and we're going to, as always, get your thoughts on the RamosLaw.com text line if you'd like to chime in, 303-713-1043. Broncos-Chiefs on Sunday in Power Field. Wow, the stakes of this one are high. The Broncos are 8-2. Stretching the believability for some, not for all, but for some, and understandably so, given the way the offense has performed. Broncos have won 7 straight. They lead the Chargers by a game. They lead the Chiefs by 3 or 2.5 games because the Chiefs have already had the bye, and the Broncos will have theirs next weekend. Dante, I ask you, could this be the knockout punch for the Chiefs in the divisional race if the Broncos find a way?
Absolutely. I think you're looking at a 9-2 team leading the division, and the Chiefs would be 5-5 at that point, having to overcome the Chargers and the Broncos to win the division. I think that's too much to ask for with the, little amount of remaining weeks in the NFL season here. So I would be ready to pronounce the Chiefs dead as far as winning the division. I think even if they make it into the playoffs, they're a very scary team to be facing. Just the pedigree they have in the playoffs. They've done it before. This would be a little bit different for them because during their run of going to all these AFC championships and going to all the Super Bowls, they've been winning the division. They've been hosting playoff games. They've been hosting a lot of the AFC championships. So I think that changes, their approach a lot if they are to make it into the playoffs. But they're certainly still a very dangerous team in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes, I would never count him out. Travis Kelce, never count him out. That defense and Steve Spagnuolo would not count him out as well. But if you're trying to make it as difficult as possible on them to go to the AFC Championship, go to the Super Bowl, I think this is the kind of route that we're talking about. We saw it for years and years in New England with Tom Brady, where, the Patriots basically, you could put them in pencil or maybe in Sharpie of they're going to be in the AFC Championship. And it's because they won their division almost every year. They hosted playoff games. And, that doesn't guarantee you going to the Super Bowl, but it certainly maximizes your chances of doing that year in and year out. And I think that's why he was able to appear in so many Super Bowls and win so many Super Bowls.
And it's exactly what Sean Payton talked about after the playoff loss at Buffalo last year. We've got to get some of these games at home. And this is the opportunity to take a huge step, not to lock it up, but to take a huge step in that direction. Will the Broncos get it done? That's what we're asking you on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. Dante and I will have our pick at the end of the show. But Dante, the path to a victory for the Broncos is clearly there in my mind. It is absolutely there. But, and it's a big but, J.K. Dobbins out, Patrick Surtain out, Alex Singleton out. 3 key starters out for the Broncos. Let's first focus on J.K. because he means so much, not only to the run game, but to the offense as a whole. What does this Broncos offense look like with J.K. Dobbins on the sideline?
Well, I think we're fixing to find out on Sunday.
What do you think?
Yeah, well, I was going to get to it, Mike.
Okay. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to. You got to build it up a little bit. I get it.
The reason I was saying, we're fixing to find out here, though, is because we really don't know. J.K. Dobbins has been has been the most steady hand on this Broncos offense. You would have thought it would have been Cortland Sutton in the mix. You would have thought Bo Nix in year 2 here. But no, it's been J.K. Dobbins, the guy that's on a very cheap deal for the Broncos. He's only played 10 games for this team, but to me, he has been the most impactful player on offense for the Broncos. So I'm excited to see what this looks like. I think it might be a little difficult for the Chiefs to game plan defensively against this Broncos team because they don't really know what to expect at this point. I think we get one of the better games from Bo Nix. I think he realizes the stakes in terms of the division and then realizes the lack of production that you're going to get from the running backs in terms of J.K. Dobbins is not going to be out there. So I think he's going to wear that on his shoulders and really step up to the challenge. I think Bo Nix has a great game. I think he gets Cortland Sutton involved more than what we've seen. I think Sutton, again, you're going into the year, you expect him to go out and be that guy, especially after last year. Had a great chemistry with Bo Nix in his rookie year. Hasn't quite translated to this year and Bo Nix's sophomore year, but I think, it's time to get him involved, and I think Sean Payton and Bo Nix both realize that.
I'm going to lead the witness a little bit in the question I ask you right here. Do you think Sean Payton likes to run the ball? And I'll offer mine. I think he does it because he knows he has to. But if you look at and I'm talking statistically, and a lot of guys have talked about it. A lot of people have talked about it before. But I think he runs the ball as a way to diversify the passing game as opposed to just horsing it up and being physical in the running game. Do I think he believes it's important? Yes, I do think he thinks that. But I think Sean Payton would rather throw the football. I think that's just his offensive philosophy. And the way he uses his running backs and has over the years, especially in New Orleans, sort of to me is evidence of that. When he has the quarterback that can pull it off, then I think he likes to use the running backs out of the backfield as much as he does in sort of the traditional handed-off sense. From that standpoint, I'm wondering, I don't know the answer to this. I'm not in his mind and heart, obviously. But I wonder if Sean Payton is just kind of licking his chops, Dante, kind of rubbing his hands together going, I'm going to unleash Bo. I'm going to unleash the passing game. And it's going to be an opportunity because we don't exactly know how RJ is going to respond yet, RJ Harvey. We don't exactly know what we can trust out of the running game because Harvey's opportunities have been more limited. We know what we're going to get if J.K. Dobbins is in there, probably right around 5 yards a carry and probably right around 80 yards a game as a benchmark, as just an average. and very well could be over that, even against this Chiefs defense, which gives up about 105 a game on the ground. But I think now Sean goes, I can pretty much do whatever I want. I myself can't trust my own running game because I don't know what we have. So now we're gonna run things maybe the way I would like to run them a little bit more instead of air quotes having to run the football. Is that even plausible to you?
No, I think a lot of what you just said makes sense. Maybe not to the extent that you're making it sound, but I definitely think
fair.
I think Sean Payton prefers throwing the ball. I think that's where he gets to show off his offensive genius, and that's where people take note of, like, wow, what a passing game Sean Payton has. And that's what everyone points to with his time in New Orleans with Drew Brees, of like, wow, what a dynamic passing game you had with Drew Brees, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, yada 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 there. So I think that's what kind of gets him going as far as what he loves about the game of football. It's like, hey, I get to show off how smart I am in the passing game. Can't quite do that in the run game. So I think he has a great game plan here as well. A little mini bye for the Broncos, extra time to scheme for him. I think he'll be very sharp, and he loves the big moments. He always steps up in those big moments. Whether it's prime time or playoff games, whatever it is, whenever you're facing, better competition, he recognizes that, and he's like, I'm going to show the people I do this better than almost anybody else in the NFL.
Mixed bag on the RamosLaw.com text line. 303-713-1043 from the 5509. Bo is a bottom 10 quarterback in the league and has been one of the main issues all year. What have you seen that makes you say he'll step it up? It's Boverthrow Nix. We already know what he is. I'll tell you what I've seen. I just tell you. I saw a fourth quarter against Philadelphia where he was outstanding. I saw a fourth quarter against the Giants where he put up 33 points. I saw him shred a Dallas defense. I get it. They were horrible. He still shredded them. I've seen him do – I saw him do enough against, again, an undermanned Cincinnati team. But and last year as a rookie, we all saw Bo play pretty doggone well, especially in the second half of the season. So am I telling the texter I think Bo has been really good this year? No, I'm not saying that. He is fair in his assessment. But in the question of what have I seen, I've seen good football come out of Bo Nix, and I've seen it this year. Not in a game-long stretch consistently, not in a stretch of 4 or 5 games in a row consistently. But Dante, good football is in that guy. And I'm convinced of that as we sit here tonight.
Yeah, he's a gamer. He steps up when the moment's the biggest, and we've seen that throughout his whole NFL career pretty much. The comeback against Philadelphia, the comeback against the Giants. When it matters most, he is making plays, and this game matters the most. You can't afford to fall behind like you have. I think he knows that. So I think that's what makes me think we're going to get a very sharp version of him, is that in the biggest moments, he plays well, and this is a very big moment for this Broncos team.
Huge moment. Absolutely huge. And, it's not a must-win in terms of making the playoffs. Thank goodness the Broncos have built a little cushion. But in terms of where the Broncos want to go, and where they believe they can go, and where their standard of going has been set, which is deep into the playoffs, Super Bowl, those kind of goals, this is the kind of opportunity that's before them right now. That's not being dramatic. It's not an overstatement. That's the kind of stakes that the Broncos have. They have a chance to put the Chiefs on the downslope and looking up towards the playoffs and really maybe needing some help, which is very weird to say. And the Broncos themselves have a chance to really take a step towards what could be a division title. It's weird to say all of that, Dante, when 3 years ago we were just hoping the Broncos, could win 7 games. And here they are with a chance to be at 9-2 and take a big step towards a division title.
Yeah, a big step towards the division title, a big step towards trying to get that number 1 seed in the
Exactly.
AFC. I think a lot of people would agree on this. Between New England, Indianapolis, and Denver, most likely one of those 3 teams will be getting that 1 seed in the bye. I don't think those 3 teams have been tested all that much this year. I think this is the first test out of those 3 teams where they can really prove themselves as, hey, it's not. We're not the Minnesota Vikings of last year that went 14-3 and had a great regular season. It's like, no, we're for real. We can beat these teams, and the Chiefs or the Broncos will have the Chiefs' full attention. The Chiefs, this is a must-win game for them.
Huge.
They cannot afford to move down to 5-5. The AFC playoff picture, it's getting late early, as they say, for these Chiefs, where you can't just sneak in week 17 and hope that everything falls your way to get in the playoffs. You need to start winning some games here for Kansas City, so they are going to be very motivated to win this game, and I think the Broncos can send a statement to the AFC of like, hey, we're the big boys now. We can, that team that's played in the AFC Championship basically every year, that team that goes to Super Bowl basically every year, we just beat them when they needed it the most.
On the RamosLaw.com text line from the 5316, if I'm Sean Payton, I'm telling the team how disrespected they are being 4-point dogs at home when they're 8-2 and the Chiefs are 5-4. I think there's some truth to that. I think, again, I don't know that guys pay attention to lines and all that, but I'm sorry, Dante, I got to feel a little bit like the Broncos feel a little disrespected in this overall.
Do they need the disrespect? Do they need the extra
doesn't
motivation?
hurt.
Isn't this game big enough
Of
as
course.
it is? We
Yes.
got CBS's, television crew, obviously the broadcast game crew as well, but the studio show is coming to Denver as well. They don't do that all that often throughout the season. It is a massive game.
It is.
It's going to be broadcast through, I would guess 80% of the country on Sunday, even though it's not a national primetime slot. This is going to be the game that most people are watching. I think the stage is big enough. I don't know if they need to play the disrespect card in this case.
I don't think it hurts, though. And I do I think it's fair that the Broncos offense is catching some disrespect.
I was going to say,
I think it's
I don't
fair.
know if it is disrespect. They
Okay.
haven't played well offensively. They've been kind of skirting by in a lot of these wins against bad teams. I think they're maybe properly respected. I would lean Chiefs as the favorite, in the general, American population here. It would kind of make sense
4 points on the road? That's pretty healthy. I mean, when you think about the home team is usually, standard. Okay, it used to be a field goal. Some people say now it's 2 points at home. But when you're a 4-point road favorite, that's pushing a touchdown. That's pushing a touchdown right there.
But what is this Broncos team showed you that?
I agree. But I guess what I'm saying is that to me shows disrespect because the Broncos feel like they're better than that. I believe that they think that. And so they have to go show it now. They have to go prove it. They have to go beat the Chiefs. They have to go not just make a game of it. They have to finish off the job they couldn't finish at Arrowhead last year.
You think they think they're better than that, even though after all these games we hear in the press conferences, Bo Nix and Sean Payton, we got to be better?
I think they believe they are better than that and that they have not put their best product out on the field offensively. I absolutely believe that.
I think they believe they can be better, but I don't think they've shown that they're better.
No, they haven't shown it, but that's what I'm saying. I think they believe the ability to play better is in them, and now's the time to bring it out.
I would agree with that statement, but if gambling lines, they don't do it based on, obviously it is projections, I guess, at some point, but it's like, hey, what have you been showing on the field? Of course. What has your offense been doing? And the offense has not looked good for a good portion of the season here, especially when you step up in competition. To me, it's you kind of got to go prove it before you go telling everybody, oh, our offense is that great. Well, do something on the field.
Well, no,
then.
but that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're out there telling people. I'm saying inside, I think Bo Nix feels like they're a better offense than what they've showed. I think Cortland Sutton believes that. I think the guys up front believe that they have not played up to what their ability is for whatever reason. Everyone's taken a turn committing penalties. Guys have dropped passes. Bo has missed guys. Sean hasn't called great games all the time. And so it's not a question of do they think that, yeah, we deserve that. We deserve to be underdogs. It's like, no, we're going to show people that we are better than what we've put out on the field. And I just think that is in the Broncos. From the 39-60, Broncos will win by 2 scores on Sunday. The other side of the coin, Butch weighs in. I want to make sure I got this right. 28-13 Chiefs. I hope I'm wrong, but I think the law of averages is going to catch up to the Broncos. That's Butch's prediction. We will have ours a little bit later. Suffice it to say, biggest game of the year, and it's not even close.
Real quick before we move on, how do you think the Broncos defense feels about the Broncos offense? Do you think they're like, I really hope they pull their, end of the weight here? Or, are they thinking, are we going to have to bail this offense out again and, basically pitch a shutout here? Do you think could this be the game where the frustration maybe boils over as far as that dynamic?
Well, you have Patrick Surtain out again, and you have Alex Singleton out again, so that's a factor. But I think this defense still has great confidence in itself. I feel like they're going to play well, and I feel this is a guess. I have no way of knowing this. I mean, they played well against Mahomes last year at Arrowhead. They played really well. They should have won the game. They didn't. I get it. So it doesn't count as a win. But, Mahomes didn't go crazy on them, and it's, I think, a better defense than it was last year.
No, I agree with that. How do you think the defense feels about their own offense?
I think it's like, guys, you're better than what you've shown. I really do.
So you think they still believe in them?
Well, publicly, yes. Privately, of course. I mean, if I'm a defensive guy, I'd probably have some questions. It's like, man, I hope this is the week they can figure some things out. But does that mean that there's no confidence in that unit? No, I would not go that far. But it's big for the Broncos offense on Sunday. To me, anyway. It's big. All right. We will get to our prediction towards the end of the show. Up next, could it be the start of a turnaround for the pro baseball team in town, or is it just going to be more of the same? That's next.
Is Sean Payton pushing Bo Nix too hard?
This is not a case of a coach who doesn't really believe in his quarterback, doesn't trust his quarterback. I think what we're watching, and it is to the detriment of Bo and this offense, is Sean believes too much right now in Bo and what he thinks Bo can be, and he wants to just hurry up and get to the finish line.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even I added too much water to the pizza dough day?
Yep.
How about getting a call from my daughter to pick her up at the airport because her boyfriend is unreliable day?
Especially that day.
What about finding out that one of my pipes suddenly burst in my basement day?
Progressive has every day covered 24/7 with the Home and Auto Bundle. Also, you have a lot of bad days.
Oh no, that was all the same day.
At least you're covered with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
At Bank of America, we're proud that more than 20,000 veterans and people with military backgrounds have joined our ranks since 2015. Now we're committed to adding 10,000 more over the next 5 years. By helping veterans achieve their career goals, we're moving from appreciation to action. And together, helping expand economic opportunity across America. Visit bankofamerica.com/great place to work. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Smarter clean in half the time. Brought to you by Swiffer Power Mop. Tired of the mop and bucket struggle? The Swiffer Power Mop gives you a mop and bucket clean without all the extra work. It's an all-in-one cleaning tool that mops smarter, not harder. With built-in solution that breaks down dirt and grime. And a pad with over 300 scrubbing strips to absorb and lock sticky messes. It even gets into places a regular mop can't. And leaves your home smelling fresh for hours. Try the Swiffer Power Mop today. Love it or your money back.
Black Friday is going on now at every AutoNation store. Hurry in and save for a limited time. Buy with zero down. Plus, make no payments till next year. Shop new and used cars, trucks, SUVs, even top luxury models. Drive with zero down. Plus, no payments till next year. Save your cash for the holidays. Go to your nearest AutoNation store now.
Limited term financing on approved credit. 90-day deferred payment. Interest accrues from date of purchase. See store for details.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. The holidays will be here before you know it, and for many families, that means excitement, but also stress. Between gifts, travel, and higher prices, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially if you're already relying on credit cards to cover the basics. If that debt is piling up, you're not alone. If you're a homeowner, you might have considered reaching out to my friends at American Financing, but hesitated because you don't want to give up your low mortgage rate. That's why American Financing created the Smart Equity Loan, a simple, smart way to get your finances back on track without giving up your low mortgage rate. Unlike a HELOC, which can fluctuate with the market, the Smart Equity Loan offers a fixed rate, so you'll have one predictable monthly payment. It lets you use your home's equity to pay off high-interest debt, free up cash flow, and still keep your existing mortgage intact. There are no upfront fees to find out if you qualify. Call American Financing at 303-695-7000 or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Top users make between $200 to $300 per month.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code REFUND25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code REFUND25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code REFUND25.
This is Rob Wilhite of the Wilhite Law Firm. If you've been injured in an accident, you want Wilhite. Colorado drivers know that when they're hit, we hit back harder. Get your free case review right now. Just call 303-GOOD-LAW today or visit WilhiteWins.com and win big with Wilhite.
Advent Health is Littleton's home for highly specialized, life-changing heart care. From preventive screenings to personalized treatment options, it's heartfelt care from expert hands. The Advent Health Heart and Vascular Institute is now open, ready to provide wholehearted care for your whole health.
It's a Bud Light Football Friday. Bud Light, an official beer sponsor of the Denver Broncos. Here's Denver Sports Tonight.
Mike Rice, Dante Gomez on this Bud Light Football Friday, wrapping it up. Oh, what a day it's been. What a weekend it will be. Broncos and Chiefs, and this week we all got to hear from the new president of baseball operations, Paul DePodesta, who takes over at the helm of the Colorado Rockies. Here to give us some thoughts and to chop it up regarding the hometown nine is our baseball guy. He's a baseball scout. He's been around the game for decades, Ed Henderson. Ed, great to have you back. Thank you.
Hey, Mike, my pleasure. Glad to join you.
Well, you heard, I know you were at the press conference earlier this week at Coors Field. You heard Paul DePodesta. What were your impressions, your main ones that you took away?
You know, Mike, I would tell you that I thought Paul made a very good first impression. He was engaging, pleasant, professional, owned up to some of the things in his past history in terms of involvement with both the Cleveland Browns and some other teams in professional sports that didn't go as hoped. And I like seeing that. I like seeing somebody take ownership of those things. And I'm cautiously optimistic about how all of this will go. But I will tell you that my first impression of him was very positive.
Hey, Ed, Dante Gomez here. So, we've talked ad nauseum about Paul's, latest venture as the Cleveland Browns organization in the NFL there. It's been a decade since he's worked in baseball. How out of date or up to date do you think Paul is with, the modern MLB and modern analytics? Because, he's known as being a big analytical guy. How much has that changed in the last decade of baseball?
I think, Dante, some of the data points probably have changed, and maybe some of the philosophy has wavered back and forth between less data, more scouting, that type of thing. But I don't think DePodesta is going to be behind the eight ball in terms of any type of learning curve here. He's a very sharp guy. You know, graduated from Harvard in 1995. He's got the smarts. I think he's got the experience. I think he can fill in with some of the other baseball people that he will be surrounding himself with. He indicated yesterday that, you know, one of his top priorities was to go out and get the field manager situation resolved. Obviously, he's also going to be hiring a general manager. So I think those other people that he brings in and perhaps assessing some of the talent currently in the Rockies organization and the baseball operations side, I think he's going to be just fine.
Ed, give us a sense of how difficult it will be for him to jump back into MLB, and this piggybacks off of Dante's question in general, and exactly the challenges that he's going to have in trying to at least begin the turnaround right away.
Well, Mike, I think he's going to be drinking from the fire hose here for quite some time. He's got a lot to do. But I think he's a very savvy guy. I've talked to some people that have worked for him and know him. They like and respect him. I think he's a quick study. I don't think it's going to be that difficult to make the transition from the NFL and the role that he had with Cleveland to the new role as president of baseball ops for the Rockies. I think he's certainly got challenges ahead of him. The biggest concern I've got, guys, to be honest with you, is will the Monforts, both Walker and Dick, allow Paul to have the freedom and flexibility to execute his role, perform his duties without their interference? And I think that could be a challenge, but I would hope that during the negotiation that went on during the hiring process that was resolved. So it remains to be seen. But like I said, Mike, I cautiously optimistic. You know, the fans here, I think the true baseball fans, the hardcore fans, are desperate for change. And I think we all feel, hey, we've heard enough talk. It's time for action. And most importantly, let's get some results.
Ed, Dante here again. So, Paul obviously comes from more of an analytical background. Even though he's considered a baseball guy, I think, maybe some of the true hardcore baseball people wouldn't even consider him a baseball guy, considering his background. Do you imagine him hiring more traditional baseball background people around him in terms of the manager, in terms of a GM? How do you imagine that integration going?
That's a great question, Dante, and I certainly hope so. I think you got to go old school with some of this to provide some balance. I think the organizations that have found a way to create a balance, a chemistry between the analytical group and the scouting group have had some success. I think about Mike Rizzo with the Washington Nationals, and even though he got fired a few months ago, he would be a guy that I would love to see come in here as the GM, because Mike and I had several conversations over the years about how he was able to blend that. And I think that the scouting side and the analytics side, analytics provides the tools, but there, in my mind, and what's been drummed into me over 32 years, is there is no substitute for actually seeing a player and having eyes on a player throughout their period of performance. So I'm hoping that Paul's going to be able to do that, and I suspect that there will be people encouraging him to have a balanced approach in how he assesses players.
Ed Henderson is with us, longtime scout, decades in MLB, and follows the Rockies, covers the Rockies very closely as well, with us for a few more minutes. Ed, what do you think happens with the manager position, that spot, and does Warren Schaefer retain it, or does he have a spot somewhere else in the organization, or is he just done with the Rockies? How does it shake out, do you think?
That's really great question, Mike. I will tell you that I think that the Rockies owe it to Schaefer to at least interview him for the position. I don't think they owe it to him to give him the position outright. I think that what I would prefer to see would be at least two or three other solid Major League Baseball managerial types. And by that, I mean not necessarily a guy who's a manager now or has been one, but certainly a guy who's at least been a bench coach or been a coach with an organization for a period of time. But I think there's the credibility issue here too, and I think that if the Rockies don't go outside, if D. Podesta doesn't go outside the organization and bring some other guys in, it kind of harkens back to the criticism that we've had of this ball club for the last few years. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So my hope is, and my expectation is that, give Schaefer a look, have a conversation with him. I don't know that necessarily he would be my first choice for the job. I would prefer somebody more of an old school type guy that's got some miles on him. But clearly Warren Schaefer is a bright mind, and he impressed some people down at Coors Field. Give him a look, see what happens, but I think you mix it up with some old school guys from some other previous organizations.
And then, Ed, you mentioned earlier that, baseball people within Colorado are looking for change within this Rockies organization. And this, Paul DePodesta might be, the door opening for that to happen. Are you expecting big overhauls of the organization in terms of, personnel, players within the organization? Are you expecting, big overhauls in terms of other front office members? Winter meetings are getting underway here. How quickly do you think those changes are happening, or is this more of a 2-3 year project that we're seeing here?
Well, I would tell you, I think the most optimistic way to view it would be, and I know people don't want to hear this, but I think it's going to be a 2 to 3 to 4 year project to get where they are a competitive team. And that's assuming, of course, they've got the flexibility and the funding to make the necessary player changes. And in terms of the front office, I would say that I would hope that gets a very scrutinized assessment. And by that, I mean, I think you can look back over the last few years and see what the previous regime has allowed to take place. And it's shameful. And I think that with Paul DePodesta, he's going to want to put his stamp on this thing fairly quickly. So my guess would be, Dante, and it's only that, but my guess would be you're probably going to see some fairly aggressive things take place internally in the baseball ops, analytics, scouting area. And I would imagine that would be on the short track. But in terms of the team, the overall team development and improvement, unfortunately, I think we're going to have to wait a little while. But having said that, I also want to say that, we've heard a lot of yapping from these guys over the last few years and then seeing things fall flat when it comes to fulfilling comments or commitments and obligations. So I would hope that they would be looking for every opportunity to start right now with bettering this ball club. And I think there will be some players available. And I hope they pursue them aggressively.
And I want to close with this question because during the process before the Rockies announced the hiring and the agreement with the Podesta, their two finalists, one had dropped out, one turned the job down apparently. Was this the plan all along and they kept it a secret, or was this an 11th hour type of conversation that led to DePodesta getting the job? Any insight you can give us in that regard?
I think they've had their eye on Paul DePodesta for quite some time. Don't know how those conversations went with the gentleman from Cleveland and the other gentleman from the Diamondbacks, but and I wouldn't rule out, Mike, that one or two of them may reemerge in terms of the conversation surrounding the general manager position. But I think clearly Walker Monfort, and I think even Dick yesterday, pointed to the fact that they had been keeping an eye on Paul DePodesta for some time, and his name kept bubbling up. And so I think perhaps some of the way the general manager conversations unfolded were a direct result of the fact that in the back of their minds, they were always kind of hoping, this is our guy. If we can go get him, let him make these other decisions on hiring. But I think DePodesta's been front and center in their minds for quite some time.
Interesting. Great thoughts, Ed. As always, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys. Have a great weekend, and go Broncos.
Yeah, you the same. Absolutely, go Broncos. Ed Henderson, decades as a scout in MLB and covers the Rockies as well. Good to get that insight. When we come back on Denver Sports Tonight, Dante and I with a couple of thoughts on, is it more of the same? Realistically, what do we expect now that Paul DePodesta is in charge of what the Rockies hope is a different kind of era? That's next.
At the midway point in the season, is the AFC completely up for grabs?
Everything's right in front of them. Like, why not the Broncos this year? Seriously, there's not a team that you look up in the AFC, you go, oh my gosh, how are we going to beat them? We got to avoid them. There's not one of those teams that the Broncos can't play with.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today, 720-204-8100. That's 720-204-8100.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. See website for details.
Hey guys, boy Stink here today about my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if he can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house all cash and he can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-944-33, 720-944-33. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. Want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
Gobble, 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 gobble. Oh, man, I do a terrible turkey impersonation. Hey, everybody, Dan Jacobs from Jacobs Law on 303 Law 4040. Those of you that listen to the Dan Jacobs Show know that I just love the holidays. But I also know these holidays in particular can be really tough on a lot of people, whether it's the government shutdown, inflation, the economy, whatever it is, or some people just have a hard time during the holidays as it is every single year. It's just a hard time of year for them. As always, we want to be here for you. If we can help out with a little bit of that with free food and groceries, we would love to have you any first or third Thursday of the month. Come on out to Eastern Hills Church at Smoky Hill and Arapahoe Road. We're even doing smoked ham and turkey this month in honor of Thanksgiving. So if you need it, anybody, no questions asked. You just pull up and pop the trunk. 4 to 6 p.m., Eastern Hills Community Church, every first and third Thursday, Smoky Hill and Arapahoe Road.
Hey, it's Mike Evans with Todd Whalen from Advanced Tax Solutions. Well, Todd, it couldn't last forever. The government shutdown is over. The IRS is back and ready to roll. What does that mean for folks who have an IRS bullseye painted on their back?
Well, Mike, we've seen this once before. They were completely closed during the pandemic. And what happened? They came out with their gloves on and started levying people. So now, if you have an IRS problem, it's way better if you can get a solution before you get the levy notice. You have more options, you have more time, we have the ability to do a better job. So if you're ready and it's time to get this IRS problem off your back, now's the time.
All right, Todd, I get it. The IRS is back. They mean business, but you know what? You mean business too. You've been doing this for a long time. You're ready to help folks out with all of their IRS tax issues. Give Advanced Tax Solutions a call today, 303-753-6040. That's 303-753-6040.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play. Stop, opt out. Terms and conditions apply to the earnings promotion.
Do you have caregiving experience as a parent, teacher, nanny, coach, or in another similar role? Hop Skip Drive is looking for experienced caregivers who want to help students in their community by driving them to and from school. Earn up to $50 per ride with Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion, all while helping your community. If you have your own vehicle that is no more than 10 years old, a clean driving record, and at least 5 years of caregiving experience, experience, you could become a Hop Skip Drive care driver. Just text STUDENT to 323232 to get started right now. Hop Skip Drive gives you the flexibility to set your own schedule and earn competitive pay. It's simple. Drive in your free time and make a real difference for students right in your neighborhood. Don't wait. Text STUDENT to 323232 right now. Text STUDENT to 323232 and start earning up to $50 per ride during Hop Skip Drive's welcome promotion period. That's STUDENT to 323232. Text STUDENT to 323232 now.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan's powered by Red Rock Roofing.
Standing for greatness.
Tune in to Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Wednesdays at 9:15 to hear ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky break down Bo Nix and the Broncos every week during football season. Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app. It's a Bud Light Football Friday. Bud Light, an official beer sponsor of the Denver Broncos. Here's Denver Sports Tonight.
Mike Rice, Dante Gomez on a Bud Light Football Friday. We've got a few bases to cover here in our last few minutes. First off, on the heels of what Ed Henderson was talking about in terms of the Rockies, Dante and Paul DePodesta coming on as president of baseball operations, can he at least get the aircraft carrier that is the Rockies organization slowly headed in the right direction, at least as a starting point? I mean, I guess what I'm asking is your overall impressions about the hire and about what he might be able to do leading the ship.
I think it's a step in the right direction. I don't know if he's the final answer of the Rockies going out and winning a World Series or going out and winning an NL West division title or anything like that, but I think it's an improvement from where they were 365 days ago. I think, like I said, in the right direction. I just don't know if it is the this massive step that everyone's expecting to where, hey, they're going to go win 80 games next year, maybe 80 games the year after that. I think we still have a lot of work left for this Rockies team, but I think it's better than it was. I think that's how I would put it.
Absolutely. And let's face it, the product on the field the last 3 years with the nearly record number of losses this year, 120 plus, 100 losses or more in each of the last 3 years, sort of belies what's going on in the organization. And DePodesta is absolutely right. They have to reset culture. They have to reset expectations. They have to rebuild, starting with the foundation. And if you think of a baseball team or going from where the Rockies are, which is below ground zero, so to speak, all the way up to being an elite team that's challenging for a division title and challenging for the playoffs and going deep into the playoffs. And again, getting us Rocktober back, you got to dig down deep to lay a foundation that just simply doesn't exist in the organization. Here's where I come down on this. I agree with you, Dante, that it's not the be-all and end-all. But I was one who felt like it was also time for the Rockies to go outside the organization. They have done that. We can debate, we can talk, we can believe this, that, or the other, and however people want to believe and what they want to think of Paul DePodesta is truly up to every individual. I'm willing to give him a shot. It's not an overnight fix. It never is in baseball, especially, and especially it isn't when you're where the Rockies are. I'm going to give him a chance. Am I hopeful? Yes. But like Ed said, we all need to see results. This is the starting place for what is likely going to be a longer-term project to get back first to respectability and mediocrity.
Yeah, I liked Ed's comments on it. Cautiously optimistic, I believe, is what his words there were. So I feel the same way, where I'm open to it working out and being great, but I'd like to see a little bit more. We're only 1 week in. I think it's really hard to judge somebody 1 week into a job they've had. So, we'll see it. And you mentioned, especially in baseball where, the guys they're drafting aren't going to play in the bigs for another 3-4 years, most likely. So, it's going to take time to really overhaul this organization.
Absolutely. All right, want to shift gears. I have the most important statistic for Nikola Jokic. It's not points per game. It's not rebounds per game. It's not assists per game. It's not 3-point percentage. It's not field goal percentage. You want to know what his most important statistic is to this point?
That he's really good at basketball.
I'm talking about a specific stat, though. 33.9 minutes per game, down to tied for 13th in the NBA. Think of this, Dante. Think of this for Joker. That's the fewest minutes he's played per game since he played 33.7 per game over 69 contests in 22-23. And the year before that, he was down at 33.5. So last year, he was pushing 37 minutes per game. So you think about what that, I mean, if you think of basically 3 minutes per game fewer for Joker this year, he played in 70 games last year. 70 times 3 is 210. Well, they add up. And I would take 32 minutes a game from Joker. With his efficiency, my goodness, this guy, just when you think there's no way he can get any better, he gets better. It's remarkable.
I think that's a good way of putting it, where he's been the best player in the league for, maybe a half decade here, and somehow he's still a better version of himself this year than what we've seen previously. So, yeah, I run out of words to compliment him, but just the efficiency that he's doing it with this year, absolutely incredible. And I think a big part of the efficiency and being able to rest is the guys that are next to him, the depth in the starting lineup, the depth in the bench here as well. So I think that's going to pay dividends. You were talking about it, was it 210 minutes?
Yeah.
If he plays 3 minutes less per game this year, that's certainly going to add up, especially when we've seen him be pretty exhausted in a lot of these playoff series. The Clippers last year, the Thunder last year, going two years back, you go to the Minnesota Timberwolves series, exhausted. The legs are gone. He shot terribly in that Game 7 from 3. So hopefully, he's able to rest a little bit more during the season, have his legs under him for longer into the year. I'm excited to see what he can do this year with all the pieces he has around him.
All right, it's that time. We are going to pick the Broncos and the Chiefs. Dante, I ask you, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I can go first.
All right. Who do you like?
This pains me to say. It doesn't pain me that much to say, because I'm just going to say how I feel. I have the Chiefs 27-17. I think we get a better version of the Broncos offense, 17 points, not too bad there. And I think that could even include maybe a 4th and goal that they don't end up converting. So there were more points on the table there. Didn't quite get it done. I just think the Chiefs need it more. And to me, in the NFL, when teams are even this way in terms of how talented they are, how good of coaching they have, to me, the hungrier team can be the team that comes out a lot, and that's why I'm leaning Chiefs here.
I was leaning Chiefs at the start of the week, and then it felt like I was rubbing the cat fur the wrong way. It didn't feel right inside, and I said, Mike, you're just afraid. Broncos get it done. Broncos get it done. Lower scoring, 20-17. They finished the job they couldn't finish last week. I'm still going to believe that there's better play out of the offense. But it's a big, big test, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Does Bo Nix have a great game? Does RJ Harvey have a great game? Where do you see that?
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are better defensively, so I don't think he's going to shred the Chiefs' defense. But I do think we see a better version of Bo than we've seen through much of the regular season. Is it going to be like the Giants' fourth quarter? I'm not ready to go quite that far, but I think he's going to play pretty well. And I think Sean Payton's going to have a few wrinkles in that offense. Let's put it that way. A lot of fun as always. Thank you, Dante. That's Dante Gomez. I'm Mike Rice. Thanks to you guys for being with us on this Bud Light Football Friday. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the games. Talk to you Monday night on Denver Sports Tonight.
The Broncos are locked in for a divisional showdown with Kansas City. Let's go! Kick your football Sunday off in style with Denver Game Day, powered by Common Spirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos. Live on Game Day starting